Customers and Karens of GameStop. Let's start off with a positive note here. Mm-hmm. Did you have good regulars at all your stores?
Oh yeah, at every single store. Like, every store I had some really good regulars. Some I remember more than others. Like, obviously my first store, I don't remember really anybody because I was only there for the holiday season before I moved to Ohio. And also, like, I only worked there 2, maybe 3 days a week, so I didn't really get a chance to know them. Then the first store that I worked at in Ohio, I worked at the store on the OSU campus, so most of the regulars, if I could really call them that, were students that, we didn't get to see all too often because, they're college students. They don't have a lot of money to spend. It was really when I moved to my third store, that's when I started getting into the more like neighborhood stores where I got to meet a lot of really good regulars. We had one guy at my third store where, really interesting guy, really nice, like very chatty. I don't know where he got the money from. He would constantly come in and like, he would buy whatever is the new console, so at the time PS4 Pro. He would buy a new one, he would leave, he would have it for like a week or two, and then he would come and he would trade that in and buy the opposite console. So he would buy an Xbox One X. Brand new, leave, come back, trade that in, get a PS4 Pro. Like, he would just flip them back and forth. And we even tried telling him at one point, like, you realize you could get a pre-owned one, have it for you for a few weeks, and then just exchange it for the other one. Like, we know you're not doing this maliciously. Like, you can do that. We're fine with that. And he's just like, nah, it's cool. Okay.
Right, that guy.
Interesting guy, but like, it's your money. If that's how you want to burn it, be my guest, dog.
With that guy, PS4 Pro, that was what, $400, $500 brand new?
$400, yeah.
And then what would he get for trading? Like $150?
Depended on the week if we had any sort of like promos or anything going on. He was a pro member, so like anywhere from $200 to $250 back then, somewhere in there. So
yeah, still he's like renting a PS4 Pro for like $200 for 2 weeks.
Yeah, basically
$150 for 2 weeks. Yikes.
We did have one couple. I don't remember what their name was, but every time we had like a major launch night, they would always come in with like cookies and or drinks or just some sort of treat for us. Like, they were super sweet people. Love the shit out of them. Like I said, I don't remember their names, but they were really nice. That is one thing that I do miss, is the late night launches.
So, I mean, in 2017, 18, 19, years like that, what games were people coming for midnight launch?
Depends on the store that I was at. Obviously for the Crystal store, Call of Duty, NBA, those are the only like major launches that they had, and I wasn't there for the NBA one. Like, I hadn't been hired yet, but I was there for the Call of Duty one. That was pretty popular. At the campus and Graceland is the name of the other store. Those ones were bigger Nintendo stores. I distinctly remember both the Pokemon... whatever Pokemon game came out in 2018. Might have been Let's Go, actually. I think it might have been Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. It was pretty big, but Smash. When Smash Ultimate came out, that still stands as my favorite late night launch. It was a midnight, so yeah. We hung up for a while. One of my employees brought in his TV. I brought in my Switch, and we grabbed a couple of controllers. We brought in, I think, a couple of chairs. I don't think we had a couch. And then we had a table in the back, and we set up a Smash tournament with all of the like customers that wanted to be a part of it. I got to be the like tournament host. Yeah. It was very, very fun because I love hosting competitions. And all of the like employees, we all pooled our money together, so the winner got their game paid off by us. Second place got the character pass for free, and then third place got like a $10 GameStop gift card or something, which I think he just used it towards his game. I don't remember. But it was really fun. Like,
that's really cool.
Some people came dressed up as characters. Some people were just sitting on the floor, like, playing 3DS Smash with each other. It was a really good time. But those late night launches were definitely the best part of that game, because you got to see all of your regulars that you enjoyed. You got to meet new people. They got to just hang out. It was just a fun community event. And when I became a store leader, I had so many big plans for like events that I wanted to run that just got destroyed because I became a store leader in 2020 when the COVID pandemic came and everything got shut down. Yeah. So it was a shame.
Did the winner say or do anything funny of the Smash event?
Not really. It was just one of those, like, what you would expect from Smash tournament event. Like, when he won, it was the, hands in the air, everybody cheering, like, They had a good handshake afterwards. Like it was all good spirited. Nobody was an asshole about it.
And he got his game free. Nice.
Yeah. It was great.
All right, there's a good part, talking about the regulars. Last episode, you said you were threatened with a shotgun because you didn't have a 360 game. When you worked in the more hood stores, were you threatened by other customers?
At the store that I was a store leader at the first time, it was in a place called Northern Lights. There was a guy who came in with his son. They were looking at, I think it was Nintendo games. I don't remember. They were looking at one of the games like up by the front, and all he was doing was complaining. Just loud, bitching about whatever, like either the games were shit, or we didn't have what he was looking for, or shit was way too expensive. That was the most common thing, like shit's way too expensive. And I remember I was doing something, and I was working like at the computer doing something, and I just kind of said to myself, like, you don't have to buy anything. And he apparently heard that. He's like, the fuck did you just say to me? What the fuck did you just say to me? He's like, you want to take this outside right now? I'll show you what the fuck. And, like, he just started going off and yelling. I didn't even look at him. Like, I didn't do anything. And I think I said something like, if you got a problem with it, go somewhere else. And yeah, he essentially like, come the fuck outside. I don't know, he threatened to stab me or something. And I was like, uh-huh. And then he stormed out with his kid in tow. Like, bro, chill. Oh, another thing that I forgot to mention in the last episode, one of the most, like, caught me off guard kind of things at the Crystal store. This was in my first, I think, 2 weeks of working there. There was a kid, couldn't have been more than like 8 years old. Like, he was a little kid. Came in with his grandpa looking for Grand Theft Auto 5. And I told his grandpa, like, this isn't a game you want to get this kid. And the kid tried lying, saying that there was nothing wrong with it, and I flipped it over and I showed him like the content warnings. I'm like, you need to realize this game has not just your usual like blood, violence, whatever, like there is a rape scene, there is a torture scene. Like this is a very, very not okay game, especially not for an 8-year-old child.
Yeah.
And Grandpa was pissed. Like he was very not happy, and he took the kid, he's like, we're going home right now and we're gonna have I don't know, he said something, but as the grandpa walked out, like the kid followed him, stopped at the door, waited to make sure the grandpa was there, just double flip me off before running out. I'm like, what just happened? So
a double bird from an 8-year-old.
Yeah, not something I expected to happen.
Any idea what game was that? Like a God of War game or something?
That was GTA 5.
8-year-old trying to buy it. Wow.
Yeah.
Any other customers try to steal anything?
Oh, all the time. There was a guy at my last store that I worked at, West Broad. Dude had stolen stuff from us before. His thing was he would take shit and then shove them in his pants, like, down the front, so that, we wouldn't touch it. And, I mean, my assistant manager let him walk out with, like, $150 in shit. And I'm like, why did you do that? He's like, I'm not touching that stuff. I'm like, fucking, I don't care. Bag it. I will clean it. Don't let him walk out with that shit.
So then they're going to keep doing it.
Yeah.
Over and
so
over,
he tried that again when I was there. So again, he took some figures and he stuck them down his pants and tried, sauntering out the door. So I just walked up in front of him like, give me that. It's like, what are you talking about? I know what you're doing. Give me the shit in your pants. Or show me what you got. I'm like, I'm trying. Like he just did a like hip thrust. I'm like, drop it now. And so he just sort of like dejectedly just like opened his pants and let them fall down the bottoms of his pants and started to walk by, and I grabbed him by the shoulder and went, I'm going to say this once because I don't like to repeat myself. Get the fuck out of my store. Do not ever come back. If I ever see you in my parking lot again, I will call the police. Do I make myself clear? He's like, uh-huh.
Oh.
Get the fuck out of my store.
You scared the shit out of him.
Oh yeah, I did. He ran. Never saw him again. I've done that a couple of times. Like, I became a super hard ass at that last store. Like, I probably threatened to call the cops on, like, 4 different people. But all of them is, like, I had them, red-handed, dead to rights. Like, you're very clearly caught, very clearly stealing. Give me my shit, get the fuck out, do not ever come back.
So, would GameStop ever take footage of people that stole and, like, give that to local police?
Mm-hmm. We've done that before.
You were there when Xbox Series X and PS5 were not producing as many as they should have. There was a shortage.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say. Any upset customers when... How often would you get a call asking if one of those were in stock, first off?
It got to the point where I would answer the phone with, "Thank you for calling GameStop, where we do not have any PS5s or Series X's." If that's any indication. I had one lady blame me for ruining her son's Christmas because I didn't have a PlayStation 5, which was like, "I'm sorry, you should have been shopping before, the week of Christmas." Like, it was literally, I think it was December 23rd. And she said, "You just ruined my son's Christmas." I'm like, this thing's been out for over a month. It's your own fault for not shopping sooner.
That's just like last Christmas. I sell things online, and yeah, December 23rd, I have someone, hey, they bought it like at 6 o'clock at night. Hey, we need you to next day this tonight. And obviously by then the post office had closed. It was 6 o'clock, and I can't, and it's not open on the 24th. It's just people are dumb. But
yeah,
yeah, you just made me think of that. And yeah, that was a Karen, wasn't it?
Yeah. I've had people constantly tell me, like, "I know you have this in the back," which is always I can open my back door and you can see all the cardboard boxes I've got because I literally have no merchandise back there. Because, during the holidays, it is the MO is, like, get as much of it out on the floor as possible because you can't sell it if it's in the back.
So then, did you ever have people that were like, "Hey, next time you get one in stock, I'll give you an extra $100 if you let me know first"?
Oh yeah, tons of people.
Were you allowed to take bribes?
No. No.
Did you ever take bribes from customers?
Officially, no. That said, this isn't a bribe, but I did. So I don't know if you remember, when the PS5 was announced on the State of Play, they had said on the stream, will be available for pre-order tomorrow. And then Walmart decided to go, "Fuck you, I'm going to put them up for pre-order now." It was either Walmart or Amazon. One of those two companies that thinks they're too big for anybody.
Yeah.
So GameStop was like, "All right, bet, we're going now." And I just happened to be working when that was going on. So thankfully I got my pre-order in because we sold out, that day. But I called one of my regulars because he'd asked me to call him like the moment that pre-orders were going to go live. So I called him. I'm like, "Hey, PS5. He's like, I know, I saw it. Tomorrow." I'm like, "No, now." He's like, "Well, like, get here right now." And he got here in like 5 minutes. Dude sped the fuck to the store. But we managed to get him a pre-order for it. And he bought me a bottle of wine to say thank you for making sure that he got his PS5 pre-order. So
nice.
That was really cool of him.
I guess that's another question. Any customers ever tip you?
I think once.
Just for recommending a game or for what?
I don't remember. I think it was... I want to say it was at the campus GameStop, helping to set up their kid, like, get them set up with what they needed. It was that or for a Christmas thing. I don't remember. It was something like they were buying something for their kid, and I helped them, like, set them up with something that made the kid super happy. So they gave me, like, a $5 bill or something. I don't know.
So that just made me think of a question. So, like, 3DSs, 2DSs, did you ever have people buy those and then, "Hey, can you help me set it up?"
Yeah. Oh, all the time. Like, constantly people asking if I can either, like, help set up their console or help, like, transfer the data for their stuff. And it's like, yeah, as long as I'm not busy, like, if I've got a line out the door, you're going to have to wait. But, yeah, if I got the time, fuck yeah, let's do it. Let's go. I got no problems.
So, like, did you guys have a TV there that people could just plug into? And
yeah. Well, so we had a monitor for testing consoles, because obviously you want to check every console, make sure everything was functional. But yeah, like if it wasn't being used to test a console, we'd hook it up and help them like get it all set up or transfer their data or something. Most common, you would get that with Nintendo Switches, like when the Switch Lite, the Switch V2, and then the Switch OLED came out, helping people transfer their data from their old Switch to their new Switch. That was the most common thing.
And see, I mean, it's good you had a good attitude. That would bug me because it's not that hard to say. You plug everything in.
Mm-hmm. I think part of it is because I worked as a technician for a while, and that was one of my favorite jobs, like being a technician for Batteries Plus. So getting a chance to do techie stuff for people, whether it's data transfers or system setup, or even just putting on the like screen protectors for the switches, which by the way, I was a god at selling those. I sold the shit out of those tempered glass screen protectors, because I mean that was one thing that I sold because I genuinely like believe that and I care about that and I use that, like, protect your fucking shit. Mm-hmm. Those screens break.
That I like. I mean, I would put screen protectors on all the time back in the day. And right, once you do one or two, then you can do it, perfect pretty much. And I can still even do it now real well. I don't know, just like in helping someone set up a phone, okay, iPhones made it easier over time. Before it was a little bit more challenging, but like a game console, like, I don't know, it's just not that hard to me, but I guess.
I think because it was a break from the monotony. Like, it was something different. It was interesting. So, I enjoyed it.
So then, would people ever come in, hey, do you guys fix game consoles, or...
Constantly. I have. It depends on what it is. If it's like a software issue that I can like troubleshoot it, sure. I've done it plenty of times. Mm-hmm. I've had people bring in stuff with like physical damage, asking if we can fix it, and it was sort of one of those things where it's like, if I could do it there in the shop, like if it was just like realigning a screen on a DS, or popping a control stick back into place or something, like if I could do it there, sure, I'll do it. Again, if I had the time to do it. But if it was something we didn't have the tools for or didn't have the parts for, then we just
obviously
had to.
You can't.
Yeah.
But it's just so weird too that people would often do that, because like, I don't know, if something broke, I wouldn't go to GameStop. That wouldn't even be a thought, just because they're there to sell, not fix stuff. Did you ever have a customer like buy something and then a week later they bring it back, and like they obviously were fucking around with an Xbox or something, and they try to say it wasn't their fault, but it was?
Yeah, constantly. Mostly with controllers. Like, they would bring it back and it'd be damaged, and they'd be like,
I bought it like this.
That was my favorite, when they would say they bought it with like this, and then I would look at their receipt and it's my name, like, you very definitely did not, because I would absolutely never sell something like this.
And would it be like new, like in the box ever? And
sometimes.
My God.
My favorite one, the most common one, is when they would bring back a controller in a new box, but it's like a different color controller. I'm like, this isn't it. Bring me back my original controller, and sure, I'll give you a refund.
God, people are so dumb. But what about with actual consoles?
Yeah, I've had people bring back consoles that were busted. It wasn't me who did it, but I heard a story of someone who brought in a PlayStation 4 console to try to sell without the insides. Like, it was just the shell of the console. Never had anybody try that. That was definitely a new one. I've had people try to bring consoles without hard drives, which is always the same, like, you gotta have this, and they're like, well, I got it this way. I'm like, well, sucks, you got scammed.
That made me think of, do people ever try, or would they ever try to trade in broken consoles, but say it was working? Or... Yeah,
it's always it was working when I used, or when I had it at home or something like that. Like, they always try to spin it that, like, we broke it.
No. When all you do is, bring it in the store and plugged it in, or whatever it was.
Yeah. Or, they would bring it in and be super dirty. That was one thing that I hated about the West Broad store. I had never, in all of my years at GameStop up to that point, had a console with bugs in it. Like, even in my other shitty stores that I worked at, no one ever brought me a bug-infested console. At West Broad, I had almost a dozen different people bring me consoles with bugs in them, and every time I would open it up, see a bug, and like, cool, get this out of my store, don't bring it back. I had a guy try to bring it back, like, later, he's like, there's no bugs in it. I'm like, I don't care. There could be some deep in there. There could be eggs. Get that thing the fuck out of my store.
What if, like, someone tried to trade in, like, let's say a Wii,
Mm-hmm.
But
what is wrong with it? If it is like physical damage, like there's chunks coming out of it,
yeah.
If it's still functional, you can still take it. Like, even if something's wrong with it, like GameStop can still take it. There just obviously will be a refurb fee taken off of it, so you wouldn't get full value.
Yeah. Okay.
Sometimes I've had people like, take it home, clean it up, bring it back. You can get full value on it or something like that. Or I would tell them like, because of this condition, I have to take a refurb fee off of it. They would take it home, clean it, bring it back, get full value. But if I could take something in that was like defective for some reason, but I could fix it up in store, be it, just need to be cleaned or a part that I could repair or something like that, I would repair it in store and then flip it back to pre-owned and then sell it. Because, I refurbished it myself in store.
So what about would people...
Which technically, by the way, is not something GameStop has you do. That was something that I did on my own. Technically, GameStop wants you to just send it back to the warehouse, be done with it. But I'm like, why would I do that when I can just sell it and make money for my store?
Would people, would you ever take in a trade-in and then realize later, like, oh, I just noticed the button on the outside of this Wii doesn't work or whatever?
Yeah, I've done that plenty of times.
And then would GameStop bitch at whoever? Or
No.
Does GameStop have people, like, do you ever ship the consoles out and then someone else goes through them, or?
Yeah,
they have, like, a warehouse?
They've got a warehouse in, I want to say it's Grapevine, Texas. Somewhere in Texas. They handle all the refurbs and the cleanings, and sometimes, if they can, they'll fix it, even if that's, like, replacing the parts. That's why you'll get those Franken controllers that are, a mishmash of different colors. Like a PlayStation controller that has a purple top and like a blue bottom or something is because of that. Or if they can't fix it, they'll just scrap it and keep whatever parts are functional to refurb other controllers. Like they'll find uses for the shit.
Okay, so again, talking about trade-ins and customers.
Mm-hmm.
The jokes online or the media is, anytime you trade something in a GameStop, you're getting, dirt for it. Like, would people ever bitch? Like, they bring in, I don't know, PS5, and, you'd say trade-in's $300 or whatever it was, and then, well, why is it only $300? Oh, it should be $400. I only played it for a week.
Constantly. Like, I would get people who bring a thing in, expecting to get a certain value. I think controllers are probably the biggest thing. Like, GameStop pretty much settled into between $10 and $20 for a controller. And they're like, well, I paid $65 for this. Like, okay, that was brand new. Well, I could sell this for, $40 or $50. I'm like, cool, go do that. Let me know how that goes. That was always my favorite. Like, whenever they would say, like, they could get something for a cheaper price somewhere else, or they could sell it for better somewhere else, I'd be like, okay, cool, go ahead and do that. And then I would see them, like a week later, like, how did that work out for you?
Because, online, eBay, for example, takes 14%, and then you got to pay shipping, and then it becomes work. Yeah, people don't get, GameStop. You can just show up anytime, drop your shit off and take cash right away. Yeah. In pawn shops, no one would go the eBay route if pawn shops, GameStop, or whatever, paid better, and it was just easier to do. But I don't know, that's like a rant and video for another day.
Yeah.
Any really upset people, like, come on, man, you got to give me a little bit more than that.
There was a guy who tried to sell, I think it was a game. He tried to sell, we'll say it was a Call of Duty game. All right, I can give you $20 in cash for this. Or maybe it was, I don't know. We'll say 20. He's like, how about 35? I'm like, how about 20? And he's like, you don't know how this bargaining thing works, do you? I'm like, you don't know how this business thing works, do you? I have a price, that is it. Take it or leave it.
Exactly.
He was one of those guys that was like, I can get a better price elsewhere. Like, cool, go do that. Tell me how that goes. And then he came back in like 3 days later, and he's like, all right, I'll take it. I'm like, cool, the price has dropped to $12. Take it or leave it. Because it was, I think it was Tuesdays and either Fridays or Saturdays, the prices change. I think it was Saturdays. So, yeah, he came in after the changes, and he wasn't happy that the price had dropped. I'm like, should have taken the price when you had it.
And selling phones, like promotions would change all the time, and right, people come back like, well, now your phone's not good enough for this trading deal. People are stupid. When it comes to trade-ins at GameStop, does it matter whether someone just has the disc or the case and then the manual?
No, the disc is all that matters. Like, if you have the case, cool. If not, I mean, GameStop has those generic like printout ones that you can get. It doesn't impact the value. The only thing that matters is the condition of the disc.
Would customers ever bitch if you guys were busy?
Yeah. I mean, they wouldn't so much bitch at us. They would just be sort of grumpy. At least not that I can recall. Has anybody ever, like, blamed us for us being so busy or taking too long? It's just those sort of the generic, like, this is taking forever, or I don't have time for this sort of thing. But they usually either get their shit and go, or they just leave. The only thing that made it problematic is if they were obviously in a bad mood for how long it's taking. That means they're in a rush, which means they're not going to listen to your spiel about trying to sell the add-on stuff, so it's just a lost cause.
Okay, so there's a question. Did customers ever get upset when you asked them about warranties or add-ons?
Yeah, I had a guy who didn't speak a whole lot of like really good English, but like he very clearly didn't understand how business works, I guess, or at least he had a very different idea of how business should work. Who got very pissy whenever we brought up pro memberships, because all he would do is he would come in and he would buy Fortnite currency, and he would come in like every fucking week. So all he was for us was a liability. Like, all he did was hurt our numbers. We didn't make any money off of the currency, so obviously we didn't want to see him. He didn't want to hear about the pro membership, but he refused to go anywhere else for it. I remember at one point, like, I called him on his bullshit because I had, tried to sell it, and he said next time or something like that. So next time came, and I asked him about it, and he's like, no. I'm like, you said next time. This is next time.
So why was he buying Fortnite currency? Because he wanted to use cash?
Oh, no, my bad. It wasn't Fortnite, it was FIFA. I remember because I fucking hated FIFA people.
And like he would buy it in the store instead of online because he wanted to use actual like cash dollar bills, or what?
No, that's the thing. He used a card.
No.
I don't know. I hated FIFA people. You can say it, you can ask most GameStop employees hate FIFA people.
FIFA! You got FIFA? Oh, with the Mexicans! You got a FIFA? You got a FIFA? What, you got no FIFA? Oh, man, you got no FIFA. They got no FIFA. Let's get the fuck out of here because you got no FIFA. God damn. I'm so sick of this store. Ah! You got no FIFA?
Why?
FIFA people are the worst because they never get anything. All they ever want is FIFA and the FIFA currency. They won't get pro memberships, they won't get warranties, they won't get anything. They don't even pre-order their fucking games that they know they're gonna get. Like, I will have people come in, ask me, when is FIFA coming out? I'll tell them, it's coming out next Friday. We're taking pre-orders on it because we're only gonna get like 3 copies of the goddamn game because you fuckers never pre-order it. FIFA people were the worst.
Your mortal enemy.
FIFA season was the worst time for GameStop.
When do those typically come out? Summer?
I don't remember.
So would people ever buy like Pokemon cards and then open them up, not get anything good, and then try to return them?
No. There was a very apparent, I guess, understanding that there was no refunds on trading cards.
I just, because the Walmart in town here now, they have a sign that says something like, once they've been opened, you cannot return this transaction, right by, well, not just Pokemon cards, all the whole card section, and I'm just like, wow.
Yeah.
Cards are kind of nuts nowadays, or these last few years.
At least at the store that I worked at, or stores that I worked at, nobody ever tried it. There was people who would, like, buy up Pokemon cards back when the, like, reselling epidemic was going on.
Yeah.
Where we would not allow returns on trading cards. So they would like buy up a shit ton and then try to return them when they couldn't flip them, and it'd be like, nope, sorry, you're stuck with them.
Oh, so I'm sure people like that.
Mm-hmm.
When you buy some at GameStop, what is typically, how many days you have to return something? 14, a month?
30 days.
So like a month. Okay. People ever come in on the 31st day and bitch?
Yeah. That one, it depends on the person. So it depends on the person and how they act and what it is that they're trying to return. If it is something where they're very clearly not a reseller, like they're just a person who had it, and then like it hasn't been opened, or I guess even sometimes if it has been opened, it really was a case-by-case basis, but there were times where I would extend the return or exchange period, especially if there was an exchange. Like if they're getting something else, sure. If you're like within a week of it expiring, I don't care. They did not pay me enough to care. But yeah, if someone tried to bring it back like 2 months later, fuck off. Or if they were bringing something that they like opened and very clearly used, and it was the 31st day, and they just wanted their money back, like, no, go fuck yourself, get out of here.
So what about, were there ever people that would come back in, you wouldn't recognize them, no one in your store would, and they'd be like, I bought this last week.
Yeah.
I'm trying to return this, and of course no receipt, can't find their name in the system.
Yeah, that was always a fun one. I had, see, especially like when I became a store leader, I don't think you understand how few fucks I gave. Like, I was more than happy to just be like, no, you don't qualify for the returns. Get out of here. Like, if you ain't got the receipt, I got no way to find it. You have no proof that you bought this. Get out. Like, I had no problem crushing dreams. Yeah. I was such a grumpy old man. Like I said, that job, towards the end, I was just pissed all the time. So, I had no problems just telling people no. Like, I still loved being nice and helping people out, but if you're not going to help me, I'm not going to help you, kind of thing.
So yeah, I'm trying to think, what else would people bitch about inside a GameStop, or some, I don't know, you couldn't help them with, or a certain game you never had, or...
Yeah, that was the most common thing, was just, if we didn't have something, a lot of times people would complain about it.
Oh my god. And then I assume the next thing does the blah 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 store have it?
Yeah.
In whatever city? Yeah.
My favorite is whenever, like, I know we don't have something. I know that nobody would have something. Whatever. And I would tell them, we don't have it. Or nobody would have it. And like, well, can you check? I'm like, no. Because we don't have it.
Like, you would get people can you check the back?
Yeah. There's a guy who got really pissed at me because there was a super, like, it was either a collectible or a game. I think it was a game that we just did not have and had not had for like 3 weeks. And I told him, like, we don't have it, no store has it. And he got really pissy. He was like, well, I asked you to check for me. I'm like, first of all, excuse the fuck out of you. Second, I pulled up the game and I checked. No stores within 50 miles. I flipped the monitor over and I said, see, like I said, nobody has it. And he was like, well, like I said, I asked you to fucking check. And then stormed out. I'm like, get over yourself. Like, bro, if I tell you no, the answer's no. I'm not trying to hide it from you.
Any other Karens at GameStop?
I'm sure that there were plenty.
That were, again, upset at any of the policies or something you couldn't do, or...
I did a lot of times, especially at West Broad, like, if I was on my lunch break or something and someone would try to tell somebody the policy, like, sorry, we can't do this or we can't do the whatever.
Oh, and then can I talk to the manager?
Yeah, I want to talk to your manager. And I would come out and be like, all right, what's the problem? Like, well, they wouldn't let me do this thing. Like, what did they tell you? That I can't do this? Cool, there you go. And I just walk away. My favorite one, and I had been waiting to do this for a while when I became manager, but it took me until like halfway through my tenure at Northern Lights, where someone was like, well, I want to see your manager. I'm like, I am your manager. She's like, no, I want to talk to your manager. I'm like, okay, 1 second. Hi, how can I help you? She did not find that funny, but God, I thought it was so funny. She was so pissed. So I gave her the generic GameStop like customer support number because she asked for my district manager's number, which I'm like, I'm not gonna give you that.
Right.
No one's gonna give you that.
Right.
So I gave her the generic support number and sent her on her way.
And any idea what she was pissed about? Just some not in stock, or...
I think it was that we wouldn't do a return for her or something.
Yeah, because it was way over a certain number.
Well, she didn't have a receipt.
So what about pop figures? People ever try to return those?
Yes. Most of the time it was resellers who would like...
Oh, again, buy up and hope they go up, yeah.
They would do like the buy 3, get 1, and then bring one back because they only wanted 3 or 2 of them, and it'd be like, all right, sure, I can refund or I can take this back, but if it's just the one, like, it's not gonna, you're not getting anything back because it's the free one. Or if it was 2, like, sure, but I'm gonna have to charge you for one of them, because or something like people would try to take advantage of the promotions just to try to get free shit, which I'd be like, no, you're not getting free shit off of me.
What were the worst type of customers?
Resellers.
Okay, and that was typically what, like people our age, maybe a little bit older, and
everywhere, like people our age, a little bit younger, even people upwards like into their 50s. Like,
and they were more anytime something new would come out, not games necessarily, but Pokemon cards, Pops.
It would be either collectibles or the consoles, like the PS5s and the Series X's. There was a guy, this still haunts me to this day. I still wish that I could go back in time and fix this. Guy who bought... So GameStop for a while was only selling the consoles in bundles to try and, combat the resellers. So you would get, like, the PS5, but you would also have to get, like, a controller, 2 games, and, like, PS Plus or something like that.
Yeah.
And before GameStop had made it clear that, they're only going in bundles, if they want to return something, they have to return the whole bundle. This guy brought in the shit, like, from the bundle for the PS5, but not the 5 itself. And I don't even remember what he said, but we were, like, super busy. I was already tired and, like, really pissed. And I ended up refunding all of the shit besides the console. And then GameStop told us, like, later that day, like, don't refund console bundles without the consoles. I'm still really pissed that I let that guy get away with that. He's, like, in his late 40s, just some rich white douchebag, which, it was at the Northern Lights store. I don't even know what his name is, but he's a piece of shit and a horrible human being, and I wish for nothing but the worst for him. Resellers are the worst kind of people.
Yeah, and I guess that's just crazy. Yeah, people go to GameStop to flip.
Like, especially the Pokemon cards. Like, the ones where... And I was the first one, like, before the company would do it, to instate, like, limits on shit. Like, for Pokemon cards, you get 5 card packs. That was it. That was my limit. Like, I had a hard limit, 5 packs. No more, no less. Well, I mean, you could do less, but no more.
What about the boxes, like 1 per person, or what?
Yep.
Okay.
1 per person, that would count towards your 5. You get 5 pieces of Pokemon, whatever, and we retain the right to limit you further if I feel like it. Mm-hmm. I even made a sign that said, like, we retain the right to deny sales for any reason.
Because people would do that. But resellers were the worst. What were the next worst? Like parents, Karens, college kids. What was
FIFA people.
FIFA people.
Fuck FIFA people.
Were any of the bad customers? Did you guys ever give them a nickname in store?
Assholes. I don't know. We didn't really have any.
I just any like repeat bad customers. I don't know. Maybe not any nicknames. Maybe no one came back. I don't know. Maybe
it's possible that we did. I just don't remember any of them. Yeah. A lot of those memories are just repressed.
What advice would you give someone new starting at GameStop about dealing with assholes?
Just get them out the door.
How you doing, Razor?
GameStop. This is Brian. How can I help you?
Just whatever they got to do.
Yeah, do what you got to do. Obviously, without getting yourself in trouble. Just get them out the door. Move on with your day.
Did people ever try to get the district manager involved?
Oh, constantly. I told them like.
But I mean, like any psychos, like they go to a different store, call the support line. Just would they ever try to or leave a bad review or whatever it would take?
Yeah.
To like get back at you, and they would.
Yeah. Most of the time, 99% of the time, my district managers would be like, I'm just going to ignore it because that doesn't sound like you. Because obviously they don't only tell like half the truth. Only one time ever did a guy actually get through, and I'm pretty sure he knew the district manager personally.
Oh.
And that's why he got through to him. I don't remember what it was. He was trying to get something that we were like holding for somebody else. And the district manager was like, I don't care. You give it to him. Like, how about I fucking report you for this? Like, fuck off. But I did it.
I report you for this. But, yeah, I mean, that's bad. In that example, right, you were probably holding something in stock for a regular, and that guy was probably from, 30 minutes away.
Mm-hmm.
10 GameStops away too. Yeah, I mean, otherwise, any other crazy customers 10 things off? Oh, did people ever buy like Xbox Live cards, use them, and then try to return those?
Yes. Yeah, we've had people like buy
every fucking thing. Oh my god.
Either buy them and then use them and then try to return them, or buy them and then fuck up the scratch off and like scratch too hard and ruin the numbers and try to refund them and be like, nope, sorry.
Well, I didn't use it.
Too bad.
Because I'm sure that's what they try to say. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure, I bet it says somewhere on there like, if this is scratched off, you know, wherever you bought it from cannot take this as a return, but right, they don't rate it, they don't care.
We had in our return policy.
Anyone ever threatened to get a lawyer involved?
Yeah. Oh yes. Okay, so there was at Northern Lights when the pandemic was in full swing and all the mask mandates were going around. There was a guy who came in, no mask, even though we had 2 signs, one on the door, one on the window, saying like masks are required to enter this establishment, limit of X number of many people. Guy came in, no mask, refused to put on a mask. When I told him like, hey, you gotta have a mask to be in here, refused. So he looked around for a little bit. I was busy doing whatever, so I wasn't gonna go around to hand him a mask. So when he came up to the register, he slapped the thing down to buy it, and I'm like, cool, put on a mask, otherwise you don't get it. So he did, like half-assedly put one on, huffing and puffing and bitching the whole time. I rang him up for a thing, and he refused to get any of the add-on shit because he was being an asshole. And then as soon as the transaction was on, he ripped the mask off and threw it at me, stomped around and knocked over one of our displays, yelling about God knows what, and then as he got to the door, he like turned around and yelled, and I'm gonna get my lawyer and have your fucking job, and stormed out. And every other customer in the store just started laughing their asses off and being like, oh wow, poor baby, noises at him as he was walking away. It was so funny.
Oh my god.
Never heard anything about it since. So
how often would people bitch about the masks during 2020 at GameStop?
It sort of came and went. Like
in Ohio, did any stores like actually like lay people off in April, May, June of 2020?
Only the mall store, just because there was no way to get in there.
Oh yeah, because same thing here. Malls were closed, but yeah, I think GameStop people at places like that were laid off for a little bit. And then like middle of that summer they were brought back with masks and everything.
What we ended up doing, they cut all our hours down to 64 hours a week. I didn't furlough any of my employees. What I ended up doing, because GameStop managers at that time worked 44 hours a week, I cut my hours down to 36, and then I just used like 8 hours of PT, personal time, to supplement my hours, and I just did that week after week so that I could funnel some hours to my other employees so that they still had something.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we did throughout the closures, again, so they had something, because I wasn't going to use my personal time for anything. I couldn't afford to go on trips, so.
Mm-hmm. But so yeah, for managers or for customers, for the most part, they were good about the mask. It was just a guy here and there.
At the store that I was at in Northern Lights, for the most part, yes. You still had some people who would refuse, and it was either like, I told them, like, you can put on the mask, or I won't sell anything to you. And they would either put it on, or they would walk away. Like that's it. I gave them the ultimatum. Like, there's literally a sign on the door. You can either follow my rules, or you can get out.
Mm-hmm. But otherwise, any other Karens threatening to get a lawyer involved because like a return wouldn't get taken, or
nah. So surprisingly, even at the like more upscale stores, that was the only time I ever had a lawyer threaten to be get involved.
Did you ever have like a customer escalation because like someone else in the store like fucked up a promotion or told them something about a game that wasn't true, or?
No, but I did have a guy there was one dude who was being a dick to me at the register. I don't remember what it was about. And this other guy like tried to step in to like be the hero and help. And I was like, you don't get involved. This is fine. You calm down or get out of my store. Like, I had to immediately diffuse, like, do not get involved. Do not make this worse for me. And when the first guy left, I was like, I appreciate what you're trying to do. You would have made things worse. Please don't do that again. I mean, I appreciate it.
Did you ever have older people come in that like didn't know anything about video games, technology, and
Constantly.
just explaining it to them was just horrible?
Constantly. During the holidays especially, you get lots of old people who don't know what's going on. So the best thing that you can do, honestly, is like try to get what you can out of them. Like, what do they know? Hope that they've got somebody with them that knows more. But if not, just make a couple of recommendations. Like, well, you can go with this or this or this. Or a lot of times what I did is like you can also, call somebody or go home, ask, get a little bit more information, ask them like these 2 or 3 things, and then come back and we can figure it out. Or, try this, take it home, ask the parents if this works, cool. If not, bring it back, I'll get you something different. So,
Last question. Working at GameStop, did you ever have people like troll? Like, you see those videos online of people calling up GameStop and asking if they have Call of Duty 2. Whether it be with the name or... There's another video I saw online. The guy, like, took a picture of the guy working at GameStop and made it and, like, put him on the cover of some game he was trying to sell him. Like,
Yay. With me on it? That's funny. You got me on the cover.
Are you Greg?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
Look at this. That's crazy. So you sell those then?
No. Now I'm pissed off.
anything weird like that did you ever have?
I did have one instance of some kids trying to film something for TikTok. I told them, like, you can get out or I can call the cops. Like, I was just very cut and dry. Like, you're not allowed to be recording in here. Get out. Most of the time it was just prank calls, and most of the time it was Battletoads, because people are unoriginal, and that was the most common thing.
Well, so I guess explain to me, like, they would call and ask for Battletoads, like, why? Just because that was like a game for SNES, or why was that?
Yeah,
like a thing?
Yeah, Battletoads for PlayStation 4.
Oh,
I would just hang up.
Which obviously, it isn't a thing.
Yeah, like eventually it got to the point where, like, if it was something where, like, this is a prank call, this is not worth my time, just click hang up.
So how often?
I don't even engage.
How often would you get a call like that?
At least once a week. And then I learned how to block phone numbers, and everything was great. I did have one mother, like, come up to the store pissed because her number was blocked. I'm like, talk to your kids. They called about some nonsensical bullshit, and so we blocked the phone number. So I unblocked it for her, but I told her, like, this is probably what happens. You deal with it. We won't block your phone number again. Because
I see some of those videos, but I didn't think it'd be that popular. But I don't know, maybe people in Ohio like to troll.
Do you remember, God, what was it? Not Starfield, but there's some, like, Toys to Life star-based thing. Starlink Battle for Atlas. When Starlink came out, I was working at the campus Graceland. I was working at the Graceland location. There was a lady who worked for, like, their marketing department or something, who came in and asked if she could film a video. Just like a short, promotion, like, hey, this thing is out, it's at GameStop, check this out, using our Starlink display as the, like, backdrop. So she asked if I could be the camera guy for that.
Oh.
I did. It was fun.
So that's cool. Did you ever have people that would come in, I don't know, just stupid, like, without shirts on and demand service, or they come in the store and, I don't know, try to get some crazy deal? Well, when I called, you guys said you would, and, no one had called that day.
I mean, I've had people come in without shirts on, mostly at Northern Lights, but that was a very, like, neighborhood, community-centric store.
So it wasn't a big deal.
Yeah, no, I did not care. Like,
still, again, weird to me, because I can't imagine going to GameStop and...
It was only during the summer when it was, like, stupid hot out anyway, where they would have, like, their shirt wrapped around their head as, like, a sweat rag,
okay,
or something.
Okay.
But again, like, I genuinely didn't care. Like, as long as you're not grabbing my shit and, like, rubbing it on yourself, I don't care. Nobody was weirdos about it, so it was fine. I mean, I've had people come and say, like, obviously there's been times where, like, one person would say they would hold a thing or honor a deal or something, and then just forget to tell the other person. So it would be like, all right, well, who told you that this could happen? And if they name drop the person, you would just be like, hey, did you offer to do this? And be like, yeah. I'm like, okay, cool, on it. I'm sure there were times where people would just make shit up and say, like, oh, well, the store manager said I could do that. And like, I'm the store manager. Thanks. I didn't tell you that.
Right. Yeah.
But nothing really jumps to mind. So it wasn't a very common occurrence.
But yeah, otherwise, any other customer stories, Karens, assholes?
Not that I can think of.
No? We got it?
Yeah.